Frack on. Welcome everyone to another episode of Frack the Canon. I'm joined by the cool mother frackers over out. I'm joined by Tyler Ruiz. How are you doing, good sir?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Alrighty, so we're gonna talk about. I did the Spanish version. I forgot to do the English version, but thank you for reminding me. Talk about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Part 3. All right. What did you think about it? You're the biggest Guardians fan. Yeah, I think it's you in our group. What did you think?
Yeah, yeah. Really solid ending to the trilogy. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy might have the best Marvel trilogy now. That's in my opinion because of how good three was.
Okay. Um, I remember thinking like this was the best one. I think it was the most mature one.
Hmm.
I remember thinking that I can't. I remember I always cry in these movies. The first time was when Groot said,
We are Groot.
"I'm like." The second one was when what Yondu says, "He may be your pappy, but he ain't your daddy" or whatever. That made me cry.
Yeah, that one got me.
Um, this one, the whole thing with the animals, with Rocket, Layla, Floor.
Oh, R.I.P. Yeah,
Dude, yeah, like that whole thing
Tusk.
was. And in hindsight, I'm like, wait, so everyone causes all this damage, all this collateral damage. They destroy a planet for one freaking life. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm like, oh my god, you're like, this is. It just, I remember thinking, wow, all this collateral damage for Rocket at the end. Because I was just watching the planet, and I was just like, they're just to save Rocket to get these. But I'm like, it just that was the one thing that took me out of the movie, which is that one little moment. But overall, I think it is Marvel's best trilogy to date. I will definitely agree with you there. I think it's one of the better ones. But you go. Let's go. Let's go with your thoughts, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that too in the movie. Then it just emphasized. I thought how insane the High Evolutionary was. That he would just kill a planet just because, like, I messed up. Let's try again. But I think he wanted Rocket so much because Rocket was the only one who exceeded his expectations. Because he naturally had this gift for engineering and literally was better than the High Evolutionary at, you know, how to make species in like just one glance at it. Um, and for him, I think Rocket was always like the one he got almost right, and that's why he went so insane to get him.
Let's talk
Um,
about that actor too. I don't know his name, but
sure.
he was really good. I thought his performance was amazing. I thought he was a
Yeah.
great actor. I know he was in Peacemaker. I've yet to see Peacemaker. Nothing
Hmm.
against James Gunn in the DC verse, but I'm not really. It's not on my priority list to watch Peacemaker. But
Right.
it was awesome. Like his performance, the guy who plays High Evolutionary. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow. Okay, I might go see it just to see you perform in the show because he
I
was.
don't.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, he was incredible. I don't blame you for not knowing it. It's a hard one to remember. Chukwudi Luwuchi. That's
We are
his
sorry
name.
if we're pronouncing it wrong. But
Yeah, that's my best crack at it.
but that guy was really
Yeah.
good. I think everyone was awesome. I think everyone was cool. Like the story was great. Do you have any favorite scenes in this movie?
Yeah, the hallway scene was so good.
Which hallway scene?
Where they have to get through, they clear the tunnel, and they all just kill like tons of like the mutant people. And they have to get from one end from into the doorway and get through, and they just start slicing.
Oh, when they're on that planet that he's going to destroy, the reverse Earth or whatever.
Was it? It was they were trying to get out of the pyramid
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Towards the end, yeah, the hallway scene when they everything's slow motion and they're just cutting heads off and spinning, the camera's spinning around like that. That was, in my opinion, top five Marvel scenes ever.
okay.
Like, yeah. How about you? What you got?
My favorite scene. It's hard because everything was. It got to be anything to do with the rocket and the other three animals. Because those two were just like, dude, I was literally crying for them. But I think
Yeah.
it's that moment when he's going to light, and Layla says, it's not your time yet. Like it's not your time. That
Yeah.
really got to me. That really. I was like, and I wasn't the only one too. The whole theater I was in was like,
Yeah, I cried a few times in the movie too.
I cried a lot. I'm not gonna deny it right now. I cried a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said this was did you feel this was a good ending for the Guardians?
Yeah, yeah. It's like almost perfect. I like how Star-Lord went back to Earth and met up with his grandpa. I cried then too when his
Mhm.
grandpa hugged him, and I was like, I thought I was done crying, and you made this come back. I like how Gamora had an ending where she's with the Ravengers. Um, uh, I like how Rocket and Groot are still together, and Rocket is leading the Guardians now, and the Guardians still exist. Um, the only thing I didn't like is like how like Mantis is like, I'm gonna go my own way now and ride off into the sunset with my 4 giant octopus beast things. I'm like, that was weird, but okay, James Gunn, you get a mulligan there.
Yeah, that was weird too. Honestly, I wasn't. I didn't like how they ended. I didn't feel they should have ended. I'm like, I know there's a bigger plan for them, something to do with Secret Wars or whatever. But I'm like, it didn't. To me, it didn't feel natural. I'm like, you just like busted your butts for a rocket, like to prove you're all a family and everything. And now we have to go our own way. Gamora makes sense, right? Because that's a different Gamora.
Yeah, yeah,
So okay, that makes sense. But
right.
everyone else, I don't. I guess I know why the actors were already tired, but I'm like, all right, give them a break, give them some time off. They'll come back. Like, yeah, we missed it. We'll come back. I feel that's what happened. But I just like to me that was just like I don't buy it. It felt forced. I mean, I like that scene at the end where it's the new Guardians with Rocket leading the team
Yeah.
and Yaddle's brother. Who is it?
Hmm.
Sean
Sean
Gunn's brother in
Gunn.
real life too. I'm like
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm like
yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah. I was with you. The Mantis one is the one that bothered me. It's like
Mhm.
her line of just like, okay, you all found yourself, but me, I have to go find myself. And it's like, no, you don't. Nothing happened to show us why you would even do this now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
There was she never questioned herself. I'm like, well, so why now? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
why
felt
all of a sudden?
yeah, why now? Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I thought it was good. Like, I've never been a fan of the cosmic stories in the universe, in comics or in the movie, in the
Hmm.
movies. But I think this one was the strongest one out of. Well, guess what? Now it's just him, them, and Captain Marvel. That are the cosmic stories,
Yeah. And technically Secret Invasion is on right now. And that
but that's on Earth though. So
yeah, it's on Earth. Yeah. That's the whole scroll and Ronan the Accuser people. I'm forgetting
Kree.
blanking. Kree, scroll and Kree stuff. I guess that's Captain Marvel. Then see that lore.
Yeah, that's true. That's gonna be. I wonder if that's gonna be. We're going off topic, but let's just learn out a little bit about that. I wonder if that's gonna be part of the Marvels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope so, because we're in this weird time where like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was like the last of the old guard stories ending.
Right,
And now we have the new stuff starting to take off.
right, right.
And I hope one thing that makes me sad about Guardians kind of ending is there's so much lore in space. And Thor 4 was kind of like this too. It's like in Guardians 4 or sorry, in Guardians 3, we're like really tasting all the space lore stuff, and now it's like gone now, kind of. And from my understanding how it appears, they're not really gonna bring much of that back in the lineup. So it kind of makes me sad because like James Gunn did a really good job building this multi-galaxy level um, story building stuff, and it,
Right.
it really came into fruition in this movie. And now it's like, unlike the rest of the MCU, which is kind of all over the place, it was super cohesive. And since and after Endgame, we've been at least me as part of this audience, I think, has been looking for more glue to kind of start pulling things back together. And I don't know what that is. And you're right, the Marvels that could show up, but after that trailer, I have no idea what's gonna happen.
I will say we do it or we didn't, but I remember being like, this looks like fun, but I
Yeah,
remember being disappointed about the first one. So
yeah,
this might be its own little episode thing.
yeah. Sorry,
No, it's
tangenting.
okay. It's okay. No, we know that this is the nature of the show. Honestly, going back to Guardians, I don't remember much else because it was so long ago that I saw it. And that's the thing that I've said it to this podcast before. I'm like, after I see it once, most of the time, I don't need to see it again. I just don't feel the urgency to see this show or movie. I'm like, I've already cried. Like, enough, James Gunn. You don't need to see it twice. Have you seen it more than once?
No, and it's funny you mentioned that because I saw Guardians 1 5 times in theaters because I
Okay.
loved it so much. Saw Guardians 2 twice in theaters, and I'm with you, same reason. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm good, I don't need to see it, because it's emotionally exhausting
Yes.
watching this. Because you see it and you feel like you just came out of a funeral. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I
That's the
don't want
word.
to go back. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think you're absolutely. I think that's what it is because it is so emotionally draining. This
Mhm.
one, the second one, I didn't feel so much. The second one, when Yandu says, "I'm your," he says, "He's not
Yeah.
your, I'm your pappy or daddy." I'm like, yeah, that's true, but I thought he cheated. I'm like, no, there could have been a better way. Like, I agree with that statement, but it pissed me off that they didn't show it, that they told
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
They did
that's
a
why I'm
lot of
like,
showing in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like
yeah,
when
oh my god, so much. And this one, I'm like, I
yeah,
can't. Like, I was gonna go see it again,
yeah,
but I'm just like, it's
yeah.
just so much, dude. And I think everyone on this movie was in high gear. Everyone was
Mhm.
just. Oh, one more thing before I forgot, because I forgot this happened. This is the official time this only happens in the MCU. The first official F bomb.
Yeah, it
Your thoughts on that?
I miss it. Like, was it when they were trying to leave, like steal,
The
and was
car.
that where it was?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
and
he
he's
goes to
like,
the car, he goes, now open the
"Effing-"
door.
yeah, yeah, that was the first F bomb in 25 movies or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just,
I'm like, okay, I guess.
yeah, yeah, way worse has happened though. Like people melted and like and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the way you're gonna okay. I thought there should have been a bigger one like Endgame or Infinity War,
yeah,
but all right. I'll take it in this.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
I got nothing else. Final comments, final thoughts?
Uh, Stuff I kind of was worried about go like in
Hmm.
the movie felt like it had kind of a slower start. Um,
Yep. Hmm. I
and
agree with that.
Yeah, kind of like Endgame was kind of like that, where it was like let's get this, where's this going? And then when it finally started going, it was like, oh, okay, we're on the ride, and there was like no looking back, and that was cool.
Right.
So I appreciated the slow cook there, and uh, anything else? Lots of cameos. That was cool. Howard the Duck came back. That was random, but I'll take it. Uh, I like how Stallone was back with the Ravengers. That's something I completely forgot about. I'm like, oh, cool. There.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't know Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor from Smallville,
hmm,
was the Celestial or the Crystal guy.
yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah, and
Um,
then yeah, yeah, yeah. You got it. Sorry, you're saying?
no, that was it. That was it. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting those characters and those actors are in that universe too now.
Yeah, yeah, and they showed us. I forget the name of the Ravenger, but he's like in another galaxy, another um I forget the name of the people from where Doctor Strange is. Another sorcerer. Like he opened all the portals, and I was like, what?
Not the
Yeah,
Taj Mahal. That's the real place.
yeah, yeah. Um, Dang it,
If
Strange.
we only knew who had a website to look it up, who had all the answers.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Okay, yes. It's
Yeah,
Sanctum Sanctorum. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the place where you went to go train.
Right.
Camertage. Camertage.
Yeah, Comertage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm like, if there was only if only the internet existed, Tyler. If only that.
if only I forget that all us millennials aren't we didn't grow up with it like Gen Z did. We grew up with dial-up.
I know.
My favorite
Go
thing
ahead.
James Gunn did because throughout the entire trilogy, they're the running joke through a lot of it is I am Groot, and then people are like, we know your name is Groot. Like they really emphasize it in 3 with Gamora being like, yeah, I know it's Groot. But Rocket says it a few times, and everyone understands him by the third one. That if you listen long enough, you'll understand it. And then Rocket says at the end of the movie, "I love you guys" or whatever. And I thought that was so genius from James Gunn, holding true to that. Like you listen to Groot long enough, and eventually you'll just understand what he says. And that made me really warm and fuzzy inside. Like James Gunn did an incredible job tying up all the loose ends he was setting for us over the 7 or 8 hours worth of this trilogy. And that was a man, that was just like the moment of like we are Groot in at the end of 1 was and man, yeah, that was another one of my favorite moments, and that's all I wanted to share.
Well, that was a great moment too. That was I was at first I thought he learned how to say I love you guys or whatever. But I didn't someone said to me or someone pointed out to me, but like, no, it was the other way around. Like now we understand him. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. That makes sense. We've been with him all this long. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes I thought that was a cool moment. I thought it was a cool little button to the franchise. I'm like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this about James Gunn. Like, I was just like, okay, that he does have like those movies do have a lot of heart, and that's why. But I'm like, I don't think I can see them that often because they're just so emotionally draining for me. I'm like, not that I'm emotionally devoid. I'm just like, dude, you have no idea how much I relate to this right now. How true, how real this is for me. For me to sit through this is just like, oh my god, like this one. I'm like, dude, I was just like when Layla's like oh my
god, that was the hardest when she died.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, don't. I need to, but I knew she would die eventually.
Like I knew that too. Like I knew it. I knew it because we never see it. But I'm like, oh, this is because like, and now I understand why Rocket didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, well, what does he want to talk about it? Now we know why. Like,
yeah, and
so
it makes
it was
much more
like,
sense than in Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny too because usually it's always the first one's pretty good, the second one's way better, the third one kind of has a major dip, but this one kind of the third one was the best one of this one. So yeah, I think I definitely will enjoy. I'll definitely be watching when it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'll fast forward through the really sad parts.
Oh yeah. But yeah, without your final thoughts.
You mentioned James Gunn directing. I'm with you on that. Like James Gunn, can you just make a movie without us crying? Like, obviously, you prefer the Suicide Squad much more than the other one with Will Smith.
Yeah.
But there are scenes in that movie that are like super depressing, sad for the sake of story. And it's like that, and like in that movie, I didn't want to see a penis. Like, just like, can you not like put this in this movie? And that one's a hard R, so I understand why he's flexing like that. But James Gunn is a very brave director. Like a lot of people give Chris Nolan props for making a real explosion and stuff for the new Oppenheimer movie, but like James Gunn is always made brave choices with the writing in his movies, and that's one thing I always appreciate about him.
And I want to point out that they are emotionally brave choices too. They're like,
yeah,
not just like, oh, here's like something cool, like we said, like a cool explosion or whatever. No, dude, this is playing with the audience's emotions, expectations. I'm like, dude, that's yes, I will definitely agree with you that very much. You know, like Kevin Smith, but it reminds me very much of Kevin Smith, just more commercial. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I never put it. Yeah, I never put those two together. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely I'm gonna check out Peacemaker. I just like I'm like you're just so emotionally draining for me, dude. Like it's just and I
Yeah.
have there's so much stuff to watch right now. I don't know what to pick from, so where to start. So
Yeah,
um
I know. There's a lot.
yeah, so my final comments, my final thoughts. We were a little bit everywhere. I'm glad that he got to do and finish his trilogy. I'm happy with what he did. A great movie. Um, the most emotionally draining I've ever been in a movie, besides Schindler's List.
Oh God. You watched Schindler's List in theaters? You were
No,
like 7.
no, I didn't. But I saw it when I was in film school. That
Oh
and Wrecking for a
man.
Dream.
Oh man.
Those two are, and Sophie's Choice, and Sophie's
hmm
Choice.
hmm
Those three movies are so emotionally fracking me up that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good for a minute. Especially
Saving
Wrecking
Private
for a Dream.
Ryan, man.
Yeah,
Glory, uh,
Glory, dude.
Fury.
Yes,
Yeah.
we should do a movie. We should do an episode of the most emotionally draining movies.
Yeah. I gotta
If,
yeah, yeah, man.
I'm gonna put that in the
Yeah.
chat. We'll talk about that later. All right, Tyler. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for nerding out with us. We'll see you same fracking time, same fracking channel. Frack off.